North American Cup number 3 Grand Finals, Cloud9 versus Method NA, best of 7 on the Grand.
All right, last time I said that Warrior had an advantage, I looked like an idiot. So, you know what? I think that both these compositions are very evenly matched, Super T's.
Okay. I think it's surprising to not see Warrior Mage Mirror still, just because of how prevalent it's been. Ceruleum the target here, and it is just going to be Warrior versus Mage, Windwalker versus Mage, who can get the upper hand. The downside of the Windwalker is that the Mage does have options to deal with the pets like Frost Nova, Ring of Frost, and Dragon's Breath, whereas the Warrior has maybe a few more options to get out of crowd control from the Mage, like Spell Reflect, Blade Storm. Wealthy Man is falling behind. Dragon's Breath on Drake, hits the Storm Earth and Fire with a Frost Nova. Well placed. Polymorphing the Monk on Storm Earth and Fire, good idea. Cubsy charging into Brain, gets hammered himself. Oh no! They could turn this around. Maybe they're even swapping to Cubsy into Blinding Light. Wealthy Man paralyzed. They're trying to go after Wealthy Man. Ceruleum is just getting smacked by Snuts, though. This is insane from Snuts at the moment. Just really leveling him. Ceruleum pops the Avenging Wrath. Cubsy's now falling behind as Wealthy Man's getting hit. And it is looking evenly matched 1 minute in.
Yeah, really nice war banner there by Snuts. It was the Aura Mastery from Brain preventing any kind of pummel shenanigans on Ceruleum. But the war banner on the poly shut down the crowd control. And as a result, Cloud9 can continue the aggression here onto Ceruleum. This is Zwen the Tiger out right now. It looks like Wealthy Man using the Dragon's Breath trying to defuse the damage a little bit. In the meantime, Ceruleum getting absolutely blasted. Cauterize has been forced, no longer having that cheat death at the same time. Wealthy Man caught into a stun. Big damage on him. He trinkets out as both these teams exchange blows, but that was an overlap. Wealthy Man trades his trinket, Cubsy trades his trinket and sacrifice. This team's just getting so aggressive at this point. We do have Wealthy Man with his combustion though, so the next stun on Ceruleum could easily be the sacrifice from Brain or his ice block to keep him alive, as he won't be able to get out of that stun and purge the combustion with Kleptomania. But oh, that paralyze is devastating! Wealthy Man wanted to get aggressive, but an instant paralyzed by Drake denies him that combustion damage.
Right on, what is that, that Rune of Power or something? Just gigantic amounts of damage completely negated. Now Wealthy Man taking a bit of pressure. Drake caught into that polymorph. He'll be happy to take those DRs right now as nothing really is going on just yet, but he needs to reconnect. He needs to get aggressive. Avatar pops from Snuts. Hodge going out on to Cubsy, however. What kind of damage is Snuts going to be able to get done? Another war banner forcing them to have to deal with that. Brain caught into that Ring of Frost, but not a full Ring of Frost. Can Ceruleum hold on to that block? It looks like he will. Great job by them. But Ceruleum, he's got to be careful for the next go, and Snuts' pressure is not stopping anytime soon, Sid.
He's staying on target here. Polymorphed out of line of sight. Cubsy's trying to roll up. Not able to get there, really. Snuts is going to be stuck for quite some time. Wealthy Man's taking a huge hit of damage from Drake, blinking away with a polymorph. Interrupted on the follow-up. Ceruleum repositioning with Brain. This is the duo we know between Fire Mage and Paladin, just kiting on the outskirts of the map, but they get intercepted. Meteor on Stormbolt, big connect. Drake tries to soak the Meteor. Ceruleum blinks back towards Brain. Snuts charges in pursuit. Dragon's Breath away. Brain is still polymorph. Snuts gets dispelled out of polymorph. Staying on target, but not finding too much damage here. Now in crowd control, Ceruleum and Drake should look to counter engage. Storm Earth and Fire coming up in about 5 seconds at this point, so I would imagine paralyze onto the healer Cubsy, and then a Storm Earth and Fire connect, maybe a Zwen even. The interrupt poly, they're going to pop off with that, with the combustion. Nice pop off by Ceruleum, saving that, getting a huge hit of damage, but Cubsy was ready. Gets a big Divine Favor, and Drake instead chooses to just paralyze the Mage. Stall for a little bit, but does ultimately get caught in a polymorph, and now Cubsy is charging in. And that is to dispel Snuts out of polymorph and stun Brain at the same time. Ceruleum going to alter time, so he's going to go back here in just a moment. Oh, maybe got dispelled on it. Now having to pop the Battlemaster to recover. Battlemaster double dipping in value here, as it's all the percent healing on the Mage as well, benefiting from it. Using Soul Shape, waiting for that Blazing Barrier. Is it going to come off cooldown? Doesn't look like it. Brain has to trade the sacrifice, and yeah, Snuts is just doing a ton of damage here in game 1.
Ooh, Ceruleum gets interrupted on the polymorph, immediately getting that Ring of Frost out. Nicely done. Rune of Power being channeled out. Gonna get another polymorph. Does manage to find it, and Wealthy Man a little bit in trouble now. Ooh, Blinding Light as well. Brain continues to crowd control chain, and Wealthy Man getting low. The trinket trades from Cubsy, holding on to the sacrifice as long as he can, but doesn't want the Cauterize to proc, but unfortunately, it was too greedy. So now they get the Cauterize as well as the sacrifice. Big win there for Method NA. Cloud9, they need to strike back here on a Cerealium, who does get interrupted, taking a huge hit of damage. Snuts is all over him. Interrupt. Massive uptime. Wealthy Man, can he get the polymorph? Gets denied by Drake and his Ring of Peace. Then an interrupt on Wealthy Man. Great shutdown there. Great denial by Method NA.
Just identifying where the win condition is and preventing it from happening. Great job by them. The Dragon's Breath, double leg sweep coming out from Drake. He's popping that cooldown. He wants to get aggressive, but Snuts at the same time has his own plans to get aggressive. Cerealium caught in the spawn room at this point, desperately trying to get away from this Orc Warrior. And Snuts is just laying on the pain, just like Drake onto Wealthy Man. This honestly could go back and forth very easily. Full polymorph is going to have to be bubbled by Cubsy. Divine Favor, huge heal incoming, is going to top off Wealthy Man, preventing another ice block, but no sack, no trinket available. But Cerealium forced into an ice block. Both of these teams going both blow for blow. Could go either way.
Yeah, mana's pretty even at this point. It's tough to call. Dampening just beginning at 6%. Cerealium repositions behind the pillar, dragging Snuts into Frost Nova. Snuts saves the Avatar for it, reflects the poly, charges into Warbreaker, Sharpened Blade. Good combo by Snuts. Perfect denial. They're getting huge momentum because of that outplay. Snuts gets grapple weapon, though, for a moment from Drake. Drake is supporting, but Cerealium just got nowhere to go. He's trying to Dragon's Breath Snuts and blink away. Will he be able to? Now a stun onto Cubsy. Poly on Snuts. Good setup, but Wealthy Man gets bopped out and will begin to recover quite easily. Cubsy's still in a poly, but Snuts fears Drake away. Nice denial. Staying on target. Ultra time from Cerealium. Doesn't look like it's going to get removed. They're just polymorphing him, trying to stop interrupts. He's going to go to full health anyways at this point. Blinding light onto Cubsy. Wealthy Man blinks away from Drake. Poly dispel maybe. Door of Shadows. Cerealium blinks the Door of Shadows. Polying Snuts. Snuts has freedom. Stormbolt gonna connect here with a decent amount of damage. Meteor paired up. Big Pyro's in from Wealthy Man. Brain just anticipates it and sacrifices, but that's redirecting damage to Brain. A huge sacrifice dot. Procs is saved by the light. Fortunately, he does have Avenging Wrath, so it will allow him to top himself here. Going for some Holy Lights. Very slow casted. Trying to play efficiently and not use Flash of Light this deep into dampening with such limited mana, but at this point, Cloud9 have established a massive lead and a massive swing of tempo.
Yep, Cerealium getting really low, and it looks like they might be able to get the cauterized Brain. His mana not looking good. 14% dampening at this point in the game. Cloud9 continuing to make a push. Cerealium really struggling to find cross crowd control here onto Cubsy to try to reverse the pressure. He's opting to just pull away, try to get away, but if Cubsy can sit down for a drink, this is an absolute disaster. I don't know if he's able to recover his mana. Is he actually sitting down for a drink right now? It could cost Wealthy Man an ice block. Still has no cauterize. It looks like Wealthy Man is going to play it as safe as he can. Nice Blade Storm there by Snuts, avoiding the polymorph. And really just continuing to rip into Cerealium. And Brain can't sustain this. This is unsustainable when you have no mana. Full Intimidating Shout. There's no trinket. Cerealium might just get crushed through his cauterize. He's on fire. He's on the run. Snuts is there for an execute. Can they close it out? The Seed procs. Do they have the damage? Ring of Peace. Drake just spamming in the Vivifies. Poly come in by Wealthy Man. And they do have the damage. Cloud9 with their Warrior Mage Paladin takes game number 1.
You called it, Sid. For sure. Warrior Mage, man. Yeah, the Snuts' consistent pressure was just unrelenting, and I really think it was one of the more impactful reasons to why Cloud9 was able to find the angles. If you look at Cubsy's mana, I mean, he just didn't have to deal with nearly as much throughput, though monks are capable of insane throughput. Snuts on that Warrior just looks like a completely different beast.
Yeah, Snuts was really insane in this game. He's definitely mastered kind of the 1v1 on a mage, saving Spell Reflect and saving Bladestorm and saving Avatar for specific moments to get uptime, because normally as a warrior it can be difficult to connect to your target. But look, he pre-Bladestorms the poly, immuning it, then pops Warbreaker to boost his damage when he's on diminishing return. They pair Freedom to get out of Frost Nova, and then fears Brain so he can't heal. I mean, Snuts is just single-handedly dismantling this entire team on Warrior, charging after charge, War Banner on CC to stay on target, knowing it's the kill. Like, he knows exactly what's going on at all times, and Cerealium is just having a nightmare actually connecting anything or getting away, which is not typical. It's really not typical that I see Cerealium pressured this much, and you can see it on the scoreboard with Cerealium doing significantly less damage than Wealthy Man, despite getting a couple of those clutch counterspell combusts off. Yeah, Snuts is definitely ready to go. I think as Method NA, they're going to need a different answer. They can go to Spell Cleave on big map and then probably blind lock mirrors, I think would be what they need to do for the rest of the series.
All right, well, we're going to find out shortly if they decide to do that, because, yeah, that's not going to be an easy rest of the series here if they are going to have a repeat for game number 1. Cloud9 already starting off on a really good foot here, as we just saw for that first game. But, you know, like you were just saying, Supatis, if they do lock in the same composition on the side of Method NA, is what Cloud9 doing, is that a reliable strategy that they're going to consistently be able to pull off?
I was just gonna say, sorry. I was gonna say Cloud9 when they're like this, when they just have a composition, because they've only ran, as far as we've seen, I think they've only ran one composition the entire tournament. And this reminds me of like when they used to play Mage Lock, like just every single game they lock in the same composition, try to beat us, and nobody has been able to right now. They're looking absolutely on fire, very well practiced. Method NA, they're going to be bringing Drake on the Windwalker Monk again, not the Warrior. So maybe not too confident in the Warrior mirrors, or maybe they just feel like they have more of an edge on that Windwalker Monk. But that game was looking really hard for them. So far, it seems like Cloud9 with this Warrior Mage Paladin is they're looking good, to say the least.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Cloud9, you know, once they find a composition that works for them, they are hard. It's hard to beat them. And even if they do get bested on that composition, like we saw last year, there were like a few small moments where somebody was able to beat them on their Mage Lock. It would take them like a couple games to bounce back and find another answer with that same composition. So they're definitely a team that takes what they have and makes it work so flawlessly, like we have seen with them time and time again. So we're going to be heading into this next game here. Both of these locked in compositions going to be on ASHAMANE'S fall as well. This is best of 7 once again. This is the North American Finals here. Winner of this series gets first place here with all of those points, so they're going to be sitting nicely up in first place for those points. So definitely a nice place to be. Cloud9 versus Method NA, 1-0.
So Cloud9 currently, where are they on the standings? Cloud9 is second, so they would overtake Method NA if they beat him right here, right now. That would be a big win for this roster. There we go. Wealthy Man already being connected on by Drake here on ASHAMANE'S fall. Let's see what kind of polymorph. They actually put the meteor onto. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was a meteor on Wealthy Man. Excuse me. But yeah, the name of the game, I'm going to be watching Snuts throughout this game and how Ceralium is going to deal with this warrior.
I think his goal is just run away. I mean, look at Ceralium just literally 40 yards away, and Snuts switches to the Monk for a moment while Ceralium does that. If Ceralium's just going to bait him, and look at this damage on Drake, bursting him down below half, getting diffused magic, now back on Ceralium, Divine Toll, back to full health. Not going to be too relevant after that point. Wealthy Man just getting hit by Fists of Fury at the moment. Drake's trying to develop some momentum here, but it's tough to get crowd control on Cubsy. Look where he's standing. Wealthy Man polymorphs Drake very far from the fight, blinks in to try and support Snuts. Polymorphs Brain now. Nice setup by Wealthy Man. Ring of Peace, not allowing Snuts to stay too much on target. Dragon's Breath away as well. They did ultimately, I think, proc the Save by the Light on Ceralium, so that is another objective out of the way on the side of Cloud9. They're still maintaining their momentum. Brain charges in, stun on Cubsy. Wealthy Man stunned up as well. Nice crowd control coordination there by Method NA. It's going to net a very important cooldown from Cubsy, his medallion. He's also taking a ton of redirected sacrifice damage, having to tunnel through that with Divine Toll. Still ticking down from that sacrifice dot. Stunning up Drake with a meteor. Big swap over to the Windwalker. Unexpected, but Drake was ready. Portaling away from the engagement. Snuts Doors of Shadows into a Stormbolt to execute him. He trades out Karma. Is there a bop on the Karma? I don't think they're going to play that forward. They're going to hold on to the bop, but they swapped to the Monk. They know that Method NA picked this map to allow Ceralium to run circles and avoid damage, and they know Ceralium wants to play that strat. So instead of playing into it, they're just swapping to the Monk, and it seems like a good answer so far.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And that wasn't even Wealthy Man's combustion, or it could have just been a quick KO. So keep that in mind. Wealthy Man has a lot of damage available here in the near future. And we'll see how Ceralium decides to play. You can see he's just sitting back for the time being, looking to bait Snuts behind the pillar so he can Dragon's Breath sheep him and just kind of leave him behind, make a push onto Wealthy Man. That's something we see from Method NA quite a bit in this matchup, but Snuts isn't falling for it. Wealthy Man's going to move forward a little bit in terms of position and try to back him up. Beautifully done there by Wealthy Man. Nice diffusal of that situation. It was a blessing protection from Cubsy that freed him to get that Dragon's Breath. Now they're actually going after Drake. Big combustion. Big meteor could potentially land and might take him down. Sacrifice trades from Brain. The 1% sacrifice from Brain. The second time we've seen this today. That will keep Drake alive. Now Method NA, they need to get aggressive.
It's called the Brain Cheat Death. We gotta dub it now. It happens so often. In cap on the Wealthy Man. Drake about to set up some big damn. War Banner had to be dealt with first, however, given Brain just a little, or I'm sorry, giving Cubsy just a little bit of time to sit in these polymorphs. Wealthy Man in trouble. That's the cauterize. Is this also going to be the block? No sacrifice for 3 more seconds on Cubsy. The wings is up. Wealthy Man trying to get away. Drake got the buttons he wanted though, and he feels confident with that. And it looks like they're going to reconvene and reset up for another go.
All right, let's see if they can get it set up here. They're definitely showing signs of life. The big map is paying off for the Windwalker mage variant. They've got her out positioned, and they punish with a double leg sweep. That nets the medallion from Wealthy Man. Beautiful punish by Drake, catching both Cubsy and Wealthy Man. Cerulean trying to reset. They're swapping to Snuts, so Method NA also mixing it up, going after the Warrior a little bit here. Cubsy was ready for it, stabilizing, but costing a bit of mana, falling behind that of Brain at the 4-minute mark here, a minute away from dampening. Wealthy Man, though, is doing the same to Drake. Both these mages can exploit the map and just drag the melee DPS far away and crowd control them, and that seems to be the general strategy in these Mage Paladin melee mirrors. Snuts is sitting through polys, leaping to reconnect to Cerulean. Frost Nova'd up, grapple weaponed, Door of Shadows, looking to reconnect. Cerulean going to pop that Blazing Barrier, but Brain's in a Hammer of Justice. Drake's going for the Zwen. He's trying to get a power play onto Cubsy as Cloud9 ready for the hit. Looks like Wealthy Man is able to blink back away. Polymorph Drake dispelled now as he reconnects. And Wealthy Man's going to take some big hits from that Tiger. Cubsy's right next to him, spamming out Light of the Martyr, but there's still a lot of damage. Is he going to have to sacrifice? And yes, Cubsy is going to sacrifice. No Cauterize to rely on. Double leg sweep. Nice punish again by Drake. A swap over to Cubsy. They're trying to push for Divine Shield. After they've realized they're not going to get it, Divine Toll denying it. They swap back. Double Blinding Light from Cubsy, but Snuts is caught in a poly. Nice dispel. Good reflect on the follow-up polymorph here by Snuts. Getting some uptime. Wealthy Man paralyzed by Drake. I'm not sure about these paralyzes on the mage, under Wealthy Man, not during a combustion window. It just seems like not necessary in my mind. I feel like I saw one of them in game 1 as well from Drake, but maybe they just want to stall, avoid crowd control. But they're going to need to try and set up here with Paralyzed pretty soon, I would imagine. Combustion available on both sides. They are winning the consistent fight, actually, surprisingly, with the Windwalker. They're ahead on mana. Cubsy repositioning with Wealthy Man, maybe baiting Drake. They might stun him and drop him in a swap. Snuts is pretty far away. Brain's charging in. Cubsy, who's going to get stunned first? They paralyze. Cubsy breaks out with Divine Shield, trying to turn the table here. But Divine Shield's a big cooldown to use at this point. Already this low on mana as well. He's a good swap target. They have Combustion and Zwen.
Ooh, big damage on Drake. He trinkets out. He gets the Karma. It's massive damage at the same time. Wealthy Man getting absolutely blasted. That was not the combustion of Cerulean, so both teams need to be a bit careful there. Drake obviously going to be really vulnerable without that touch of Karma, without his every man for himself. That way for him to break stuns. That was also his Battle Master, so lots traded out. Luckily, Brain has that Brain Cheat Death, the Trinket Sacrifice, although I think pretty much every Paladin has that available, except Cubsy for the time being. Wealthy Man gets a Dragon's Breath, and it's kind of defaulted back to the mages just trying to control the melee. Which one of these teams is going to make a push first? Nuts potentially trying to deny Brain. And it looks like they will be able to keep him in combat. Cerulean maybe overstaying his welcome on the side of Cloud9 at this point, going after Snuts a little bit. Cerulean pushing forward, maybe getting a polymorph. No. Cubsy out of line of sight. They actually are going after Snuts.
Whoa,
a big setup here on Snuts. Can they drop him? Sacrifice comes in. And Method NA, they are really mixing it up here, trying to punish Snuts on that Warrior, but Cubsy read the situation, had the sacrifice. This is still Zwen, so Method NA still has a huge hit of damage, and it looks like they're going to be going after Wealthy Man with the rest of that available burst.
12% dampening at this point. Both Holy Paladins mana look pretty even at this point. Cubsy and Snuts want to get aggressive. Avatar on Hodge onto Brian. Drake is seemingly the kill target for now, and I really like Drake as a kill target because he has no Karma for just a few more seconds. Fist of Fury is going to parry a bunch of damage from Snuts, and it looks like Drake's going to be A-okay to live another day. Snuts, though, at about half health. He's got to be cognizant of his positioning. Can't overextend too far. But both teams just neck and neck at this point. Stun onto Drake. This is the sharpened blade from Stutz as well. Drake is in trouble, but the sacrifice from Brain is going to keep him A-OK yet again. And just buttons are just trading back and forth.
Swap to Cubsy, no trinket, no bubble. If Drake gets some damage off here, Meteor connects, 1 second left on the stun into a DB at such low health. Ring of Peace into the wall. Clutch play. Snuts uses Door of Shadows to try and catch Drake on a fist. He's just gonna roll away. Cubsy survives that swap by all means a miracle in my mind. Snuts now grapple weapon, not able to connect, although Cerulean is still low on health. Brains in a poly. Ultimate's just taking control of Brain. Snuts is chasing Cerulean. Stormbolt on the altar time right when he comes back. Huge play by Snuts. Cerulean dips low as a result, blinding light, but it does end up breaking to some of the cleave damage here. Unfortunate for Cloud9. They were looking like they were going to get a cauterized there, or Divine Shield. Zwin's coming up in 10 seconds for Drake. That's going to be a big hit. They have Combustion. They can absolutely blast Cubsy out of the game if they can swap to him again, but he's very far away. Are they going to dogpile? Are they going to chase Cubsy, try and go for that target that's most vulnerable and compromise their positioning, or just play a safe later game? Brain is charging in. Drake's rolling over. I think they want Cubsy. Are they going to get in range in time? They knock him out of line of sight of Snuts. Huge setup. Wombo combo. All of the cooldowns in the universe. Take out Cubsy. Method NA tie it up 1-1.
Wow. That was so well done. It was a paralyze, weapons of order, ring of peace, out of line of sight. I mean, we're going to see it in the replay, but that was very well calculated. And as Cubsy, that has to feel bad. I think he had 10 seconds left on his Divine Shield, something like that. Super close call. I kind of wonder if Cloud9 could have just played that a little safer during that moment. Maybe Cubsy needed to not be so isolated where he crossed the map by himself, but man, Method NA definitely capitalized on that situation. They tied up the series 1-1, but I really can't wait to see how they set this up.
All right, here we go. We got the replay available to break it down, if you will. And the main kill target was Cubsy, so keep an eye on him. And he has no trinket, he has no bubble, and even sacrifice. Those are the cooldowns that we traditionally look at to see if he can keep his team alive, but it's a completely different ball game to keep yourself alive. Obviously, you can't Blessing of Sacrifice yourself. You have Saved by the Light that you can rely on, but when you're at 22% dampening and you don't have bubble, this is a terrifying situation to be in right here. Leg sweep, or I'm sorry, there's the Hodge into the leg sweep, Fist of Fury, Dance of Chi-Ji. See you later, Cubsy. Method NA tied up 1-1, and I am thinking this matchup is very different from when I first saw this matchup. The Warrior Mage in the beginning, it looks super strong. I go back and forth. Map definitely a big deal, but I also think these teams are kind of getting acclimated to each other. They're getting each other's heads, if you will. And I love Paladin swap, especially with the sack change.
It feels like to me, from what I'm curious what you guys think about this, but it feels like to me, when the game gets in this situation where Cerulean and Wealthy Man are as far away as possible from each other, the Windwalker is looking pretty good. Like the Windwalker is forcing out more solo pressure, but when they're together as a unit, the Warrior is looking really, really strong. So I almost feel like Cloud9 needs to kind of force the issue. The smaller map will certainly help, but I don't mind them like getting a little bit more aggressive, really keeping Cerulean on the back foot like we saw in the Grand.
Got quickly.
Look at the confidence in that pick. Yeah, I was about to say the same thing, Aya. Jigs.
Love that. Mind melding. It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, I love when you see drafts like that. I think it shows such confidence from both sides here. They want to do that again. We're going to see Cloud9 with Snuts on that Warrior. Again, Super T is things you love to see.
Yeah, I mean, the small map is going to be devastating here. Although Cerulean and Brain know how to navigate it, I almost wonder if they should have gone to Hook Point. Although this could be a Game 7 series, so I'm sure we'll see it at some point. It's not a terrible pick. It's just that I know Cerulean and Brain love running laps on this map. I wonder if they have that Oribos lap counter add-on. I want to install it for Method NA and just count the laps.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, it's still the live feed, isn't it?
I don't know what it's called. I don't have it myself. I just know that it exists.
I think it's literally it. It's just a weak aura though.
I wanted to get it.
Yeah.
Just to see, like, over the expansion, there should be like a tracker in game that's like laps ran in Oribos. That's just the inner ring, and the game just knows and keeps it
that
tracked.
And DALARAN we need as well.
I don't want to know my DALARAN lap counter.
Me neither.
There's way too much wasted time running around in a circle in DALARAN.
Did you guys prefer running around in the circle or jumping on top of the roofs?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I wonder how much time I spent in my garrison. That's what I want to know. How many laps I ran
Just
around the
alone
garrison.
in the cold, in your garrison by yourself. Man.
I still have ore that I mined in my garrison that I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be useful one day. Never used it ever.
I mean, it's like your
What?
it's like your bank. The amount of stuff in there from like past expansions that you'll never use again, but you refuse to get rid of.
You need
But
to
anyways,
you need to get rid of that stuff right away.
I'm a
I respect
hoarder, Ben.
Snuts using the Cloud9, super frog mount. That's something to note is that if these teams do qualify to circuit, little sneak peek, they get to choose their like iconic mount that represents their team. And last year, Cloud9, they picked the frog. Snuts still repping it, but will it be enough to take down Method NA? We're gonna have to find out, Sid.
Oh, I'll have to wait and see. At the moment, grapple weapon on Snuts, pretty devastating, not able to connect, too much damage, and Snuts could be a target as well. We saw swaps to him throughout that last game. You can tell that both teams they can mix up their strategy at any point. It's not cut in stone as to who's the target. They play this mage game of chasing the mages around, but swaps are definitely on the table as well. Ceruleum's baiting Snuts, and this is what I meant by the laps in the DALARAN sewers on the bottom. Snuts does not want to follow Ceruleum down there, so he's just running up top here, waiting for Ceruleum to come back. Interested to see if they maybe prioritize dampening. Even Drake doesn't want to jump down to Wealthy Man on the other side. The mages are mirroring each other. They catch Cubsy, they swap back to Snuts. A snap reaction to Snuts, but he was ready for it. Coming back in a line of sight, not getting caught off guard there. Anytime, I mean, either side could pounce immediately like that. Ceruleum and Wealthy Man now both getting blasted by Drake and Snuts. Cubsy's sneaking in. Looking like he wants to go for a Hammer of Justice. Is Brain ready for it? They're mounted up on the steeds. Brain's trying to run away. Cubsy can't keep up with him. He's going to stay at the box. He doesn't want to get polyed. No, he's crossing in. Double leg sweep, though, in the meantime. Cubsy trying to intercept it. Walks into a blinding light. Snuts is the target. Saved by the Light. Going to proc on him with Ignore Pain. It's a massive shield. Recovering through that blinding light. And this is what Method NA love, is when you start chasing them. It's like a game of cat and mouse, and you bait the other team into a bad position and then turn it around and pounce. And I'm worried about Cloud9 if they fall into this play style too much from Method NA.
Yeah, me too. It's interesting because there was a time earlier on in, I think it was Cup number 1 or Cup number 2, Drake actually getting blasted right now. Let's see how they respond to this. Looks like he will be okay. I was going to say there was a time in Cup number 1 where the Warrior Mage Paladin just sat on the Monk the whole game. And I guess it's kind of changed. Maybe not. Maybe it's evolved back and it just, hey, Drake is... We just need to go after Drake. We need to just work together as a team, force Drake back, and I think it's a good option here for Cloud9 with how Ceruleum is playing. He's playing so defensive, just running away the entire game. Now going for a polymorph, getting interrupted. Maybe an opportunity for Cloud9 to try to get some pressure on this mage, but I really think if Ceruleum is playing this defensive, Snuts should just go back and hit Drake a lot more in this match.
No, absolutely. Kind of like what they're doing with Snuts. And when they go and they turn around, they hit Snuts. Snuts can't be in battle stance anymore. So a lot of times he's sitting in D stance, anticipation of any possible swaps, and that's going to reduce his damage a lot. There's the battle stance out from Snuts. Ceruleum taking huge damage. He wants to get aggressive with the combust, but Wealthy Man only at half. The disarm on the Avatar, great play by Drake, reducing some of that, but it's gone. Avatar's still up. He can still do a lot of damage. And Snuts kind of knows that. He's trying to reconnect onto Ceruleum, but look at the positioning of Cubsy, Drake, and Wealthy Man down here. Drake kind of in a 2v1 situation. Full Hodge goes out into them. They're trying to punish the positioning into the Stormbolt. That's going to be his trinket. That's going to be his diffuse. And that was a big punish by Cloud9. They did get a lot of buttons, and Drake's still kind of in some trouble here, Sid.
Yeah, let's see if he can get out of this one. Mana even, 3.5 minutes in. Tense moment. Looks like Brain is trying to just retreat back. Cubsy looks like he wants to drink. I love that. Pin the enemy team back and then just drink back to full mana. And that's what they're doing. Cloud9 preparing for a potential late game here against Method NA. They're so equally matched here. It's the first time we've seen a real significant power struggle in North America. OTK putting up a fight against Method NA. Method NA getting knocked down to the lower bracket by a newcomer team. And now facing Cloud9. They're looking so evenly matched in Cup 3. You can tell that there is no clear lead to any given team. But in the meantime, Method NA secure polymorph on Cubsy. They've isolated Wealthy Man. Massive shields coming in on Wealthy Man here. That's saved by the light, likely a Battle Master trinket along with the Blazing Barrier. Ceruleum alter timing this attack. He's going to go back to full health likely. Blinking away from Snuts' Warbreaker. Nice blink timing by Ceruleum. He's still getting hit pretty hard, but if Warbreaker was on him too, he'd probably be dead. Maybe he is just dead. Brain has to trinket sacrifice. He preempts the incoming blinding light. Ceruleum is still very low. Brain's waiting to connect some big heals. Avenging Wrath. Leg sweep on Cerealium. Stormball on Cerealium. Is he going to be able to stay on target? Snuts is polyed. Brain's charging in. Stun on Cubsy. Poly on Snuts. I think swaps to the Holy Poly maybe? No, they're going to polymorph Cubsy. Go after Snuts and Wealthy Man, cleaving them with Fists of Fury at the moment. Trying to just maximize their damage while Cubsy can't heal. Wealthy Man is very low. This Method NA look to try and swing it back.
Ooh, Wealthy Man's really low. Can they get the sacrifice? They don't manage to. And now, once again, it seems like it's Cerealium on the back foot just a little bit. As a cooldown still in favor of Cloud9 at this point. Cubsy basically still has all his tools to help his team play aggressive. And we have Combustion here for Wealthy Man also. So a big swing of momentum potentially. However, Brain is way ahead on mana at this point in the game. Sneaking away and drinking consistently could pay off. Here it is, the Combustion. Cerealium immediately going to be trading his Trinket. Paralyze on Wealthy Man. And Wealthy Man, unfortunately, not going to be able to get off too much burst. I feel like they need to get some sort of cross crowd control on Drake. Even if Wealthy Man just gets a Dragon's Breath on Drake, so we can get a little bit more value out of that Combustion, it would be good. Just because it seems like Drake is just so ready, just instantly paralyze him and deny that damage. So that's getting knocked off the edge with the Crackling Jade Lightning of Drake. And it looks like they want to pressure Drake. He's very overextended right now, far away from Brain, but maybe they don't have the damage to punish. Cloud9 gonna go back to this kind of defensive position. Cerealium spamming up polymorphs on Snuts. Cubsy now rotating in. Oh no! He gets caught into a polymorph. Who are they going after now? Look at Wealthy Man. He's just on the run. He's on his mount. He's just mounted, running away from Drake. Paralyzed into a full leg sweep. Can't get away from that one. And it will be the Blessing of Protection from Cubsy that frees him. Cloud9 definitely losing out on that exchange, having to trade with the Blessing of Protection for basically nothing.
Basically nothing. I kind of shove those two, honestly, whenever I'm playing against an offensive purge, but that was the Zwen, and they're not going to have that moving forward. Drake's still doing huge damage into Wealthy Man. He's doing a good job kiting. Cerealium, on the other hand, is just tanking Snuts. He's trying to go. Whoa! He's pulling back really, really far. That's going to be the cauterize proc, I believe, as well as a sacrifice out from Cubsy onto Wealthy Man. And so both of these teams, you know, it's just a different story depending on which duo is 2v1ing each other. Cerealium's really far away, trying to get away from Snuts. Full polymorph lands, but it actually got Warbanner disarmed to follow it up, and Cerealium's just desperately trying to get away from this warrior. Snuts reconnects onto him. Brain's finally coming out of that CC. Dragon's Breath onto Snuts. Cerealium looking possibly to put Snuts into a CC. Nope, he's going to stabilize for now, but just look how much mana was spent in that small endeavor. We're at 16% dampening at this point. Cubsy popping that Divine Favor, trying to keep Wealthy Man up and healthy, but Drake's onslaught on the other hand of things is not stopping. Great Ring of Priest to interrupt that onto Wealthy Man. Wealthy Man trying to go for the polymorph. He gets it full on to Drake. That's going to give him some more breathing room, and this is an absurdly close game 3.
Let's see if they can keep it close, because that mana is starting to swing in favor, and this is the small map selection for Cloud9, so perhaps Method NA have figured out the Warrior Mage Paladin composition, even on the small maps. They're leading the charge right now, chasing and pursuing Wealthy Man, as we see Brain, or Cubsy and Wealthy Man trying to kite on the outskirts. They cannot stack up for a leg sweep. That would be devastating, coming up in about 10 seconds. Polymorph on Drake. He's stuck really far away. Drake, I don't think he's getting out of this. Oh, they're going to swap to Drake. The swap and drop. Tons of damage. Meteor connects as well. Drake going to Trinket and get that the Karma off just in the nick of time. Bring a piece. Wealthy Man's going to use Soul Shape and kite on the outside here. I don't know how they're going to buy time for Cubsy to drink. I mean, he is the one that actually drank earlier. Wealthy Man's just trying to avoid the fight, but they're going to swap to Cubsy. Cubsy has to Trinket. He may have to bubble as well. It's a lot of damage. Popping his Battle Master, Divine Toll. Tons of damage. Getting polymorphed on his Battle Master now. They could switch to a different target. Oh, no, it breaks to damage. Cubsy going to wrap around, maybe sneak in a drink. Not able to find it. Drake's polymorphed. Wealthy Man's just trying to pause the game and buy time for Cubsy to drink. They Stormbolt Drake. They're swapping again with a Fear. Trying to catch him off guard and stop him from stopping the drink. I mean, Cubsy got a little bit of mana from that, at least evening out with Brain at this point, 9 minutes in. It's better than nothing. Drake has been the target for a while here, as Wealthy Man and Cubsy are kiting on the bottom side of the map, actually taking the strategy that we normally see from Method NA, using it against them.
Yeah, Drake in hot pursuit right now, still trying to take down Wealthy Man, but he's just going to be running as fast as he can, but he may have left Cubsy and Snuts behind for too long. Let's see what he can do. Does he have an alter time? He does! Beautiful alter time. Look at Wealthy Man being served up to Cubsy to get some heals, but he gets caught with a leg sweep as well. At the same time, Drake taking quite a bit of damage as Snuts kind of turning his attention onto Drake and actually getting out a significant amount of pressure, but at the same time, you leave Cerulean free to get crowd control, but maybe it doesn't matter. Drake getting incredibly low. It was the trinket from Brain, and unfortunately, he gets caught in more crowd control. Cubsy doing a great job landing that Hammer of Justice, but Drake holds on to the Karma, holds on to the Fuse, basically still has everything. Now a Stormbolt comes in, and Snuts is just crushing him. Wealthy Man on the run, Blessing and Protection gets shattered there by Snuts as they continue this push, but at the same time, they need to be very careful. Wealthy Man is forced into the ice block, and this is the problem. When Snuts goes after Drake, Cerulean can just do whatever he wants in the game, and Cubsy's basically at the mercy of Cerulean and his Dragon's Breath Sheeps. This is why we're seeing so much pressure in favor of Method NA.
And he's choosing to continue to focus on Drake. At 34% dampening, this Leatherware is going to take huge damage from this warrior, but at what cost? Cerulean caught into some CC at this point. Drake going to ring a piece Nuts away, and Brain, he's going for a drink. Can he get enough mana? If he gets a lot of mana here, that could be huge. Cubsy's also in the back line looking for a drink as well. Both Paladins kind of taking a page out of each other's book. And Cubsy's still drinking. Cubsy's drink is huge. Avatar for Snuts is keeping Drake defensive as well. And that was a gigantic win for Cloud9, Sid.
Yeah, they've definitely kited it out here into the late game and prepared for it well, despite that really awkward moment earlier. However, Cubsy is in crowd control. Wealthy Man with limited defense is retreating away from Drake. Once again on the bottom side, Brain pushes forward, and Method NA are getting aggressive. They're trying to just end this game with pressure. Cubsy comes in clutch with the...
Oh my
Where did his
gosh.
sacrifice go?
He didn't
Cubsy
press
sacrifice. I need a replay.
he
Cubsy pressed sacrifice.
I think
Whoa.
he sacrificed Wealthy Man in the seed instead of the
He was
seed.
already... Oh.
Yeah.
So he sacrificed Wealthy Man in the seed instead of the seed. Then when the seed dies, sacrifice doesn't matter. You just die anyway. So, but that burst was insane.
That was ludicrous damage.
Ludicrous damage. Almost 40% dampening. Method NA coming in, and they looked so good in this matchup. I mean, game number 1 looked like it was Cloud9 all the way, but it seems like they've really adjusted here. Now we're going to see exactly how this one plays out. Cubsy, this is such a critical part of the game. Look at Cubsy, he's behind the box, and he's able to actually recover his mana. And I mean, that's if you can ever drink to full at around 40% dampening, I mean, that's basically perfect. Wealthy Man and Snuts didn't even have to trade out anything in that exchange. But at the same time, Cubsy has to deal with the fact that Wealthy Man has no ice block and no cauterize. And look at how fast he gets taken down here. This is Zwen from Drake, the Storm, Earth, and Fire, and Wealthy Man's health just evaporates. All of a sudden, he's a seed. Cubsy trades out the sacrifice, but it's just not enough. And Cloud9 falls. And it's got to feel especially bad because it feels like they were in a winning situation. They had all the cooldowns for Cubsy. He had full mana, but just an insane amount of burst. Unfortunately, gets them a loss.
Yeah, interesting when games kind of turn around, do a complete 180 like that, like we just saw. Method NA now up 2-1 here in this best of 7 series, so it's not going to be quite as back and forth as we originally predicted. Method NA winning 2 games in a row, so now Cloud9 on the back foot, 2 games down right now, so not looking good for them right now. Hopefully they're not too frustrated over that last game loss, but now the question is, where is Cloud9 going to take a Steam Machine?
The map, I mean, I'd imagine they're going to go somewhere small yet again. DALARAN Sewers, I don't dislike the choice whatsoever. That was one of those games, just like Elliot said, that they were ahead. So the number one thing that I think Cloud9 needs to be doing right now is we go again. You know, just brush it off. You know, on paper, it looks like they were ahead. This matchup seems so close. And it's all about just keeping, you know, a confident mental attitude and bringing it back to him on another small map. And here we go. We got Hook Point, another small map.
Prediction.
Look at that. Look.
On point, David.
Easy money. That's a team too. But yeah, this matchup, it seems really close. I really like Snuts on Warrior though. Snuts, not only is he capable of just really thorough and consistent pressure just from this damage, but also from the way in which that he utilizes his spell reflect, his Stormbolt. He's just making this mage's life just an absolute living hell. And when you let a mage free cast, you can kind of just see how the momentum shifts, like Elliot was pointing out in that last game. But you know, even against like a seasoned warrior that's not Snuts, you can see mages have a little bit more breathing room that Cerealium is. But Method NA, they are #1 seed for a reason. They might not be, you know, these extremely veteran LAN players like we see out of Snuts. I mean, I'm pretty sure Snuts is one of those players that's always in contention as like one of the best players to ever play the game. So Method NA might not be on that level. Same with OTK, to be quite honest with you. But they are showing that they should be here in this finals.
I completely agree. I mean, if you look at the beginning of last year, this team was certainly an underdog, and now here they are in the grand finals, really holding their own here against Cloud9. So Method NA is going to be one of those teams that I feel like is just going to be noted as just legendary alongside Cloud9 and, you know, OTK, like you mentioned as well, David. So looking super good for these ranked.
Pet the chicken for good luck.
Chicken for good luck. Love that. But anyways, it's game number 4. Method NA up 2-1 versus Cloud9.
All right, let's see if they can keep it going. I mean, if Cubsy had just waited and sacrificed the seed, Wealthy Man would have lived in that position, and they were in such a good spot. So I wouldn't count Cloud9 out whatsoever. Method NA catching a win, now up 2 in the series. 2 more, and they'll be the champions for Cup 3. Snuts staying on Cerealium. Wealthy Man can support him as well. These small maps are going to allow the Warrior Mage to play together. Wow, I've never seen that before. Both Paladins hammered at the same time. The exact same second. And now their mages are isolated. Wealthy Man's taking the brunt of the exchange as Cerealium has stabilized. Although both teams seem to be effectively surviving this without having to majorly trade cooldowns. Wealthy Man hovering at 30%. Cubsy's playing greedy, not wanting to use Avenging Wrath. He's still being greedy here. Wealthy Man's dipped low. Drake staying on target, just using Light of the Martyr and Holy Shock. Wealthy Man goes for an Aura Ring of Frost, gets paralyzed on it. I like that paralyze, stopping the incoming crowd control that was guaranteed. Although Cubsy does recover and holds on to Avenging Wrath. I almost wonder if greedy was necessary there. Okay, he wants to line up Avenging Wrath with Zwen. That's why he saved it, because look at this damage with Zwen. Wealthy Man down at 10%, ringed on his poly, stuck in the corner. Zwen jumps in, Fist of Fury flying. Cubsy going to sacrifice. That's a lot of redirected damage, but with wings up, I think he's going to be okay to recover through it. Maybe worried about getting Blink counterspelled. At this point, he's down at half health. The game could end if he does get Blink counterspelled. Cerealium's now stunned. Wealthy Man's laying in with the Meteor Combust combo. Cerealium gets saved by the light and a huge blazing barrier shield. Brain now in a stun, pre-sacrificing incoming damage, but he's just dying. They swap over to Brain. He's going to pop a Battle Master. Grapple weapon on Snuts. Snuts can't stay on target. Brain will survive. Both these teams just going at each other.
Yeah, definitely very explosive on hook point. This small map, not a lot of room for people to run away and hide, kind of reset. Wealthy Man right now getting absolutely blasted, still low. And they force the cauterize, they force the ice block and overlap. Super unfortunate there for Wealthy Man. And now basically has no safety net. Method NA looking really aggressive here. And they're able to keep Cloud9 a little bit on the back foot. Snuts trying to get some damage on Drake, but he's just line of sighting. Now Drake in hot pursuit of Wealthy Man once again. Cubsy moving forward, getting a blinding light. Polymorph onto Cerealium. Are they going after Drake? What are they going to do? I mean, they get the crowd control, but there's just no damage to follow it up. Cerealium with beautiful positioning there. Completely avoids the go. Finally, the Stormbolt lands, but crowd control's over. That was really well read there by Method NA, and now they're going to be looking to get crowd control of their own on Cubsy. Look for Brain to actually push in, and potentially they could take down Wealthy Man.
They definitely can. Whenever Snuts is chasing after Cerealium, look how far he's bringing Snuts. And that's so good for Drake when he's on Wealthy Man. He doesn't have to deal with those intervenes that might save Wealthy Man's life. So Snuts just back there in the route across the map. Polymorph going out on the Drake just to stop this damage as much as humanly possible. Is Cubsy getting a drink? Oh, that sneaky Paladin might be looking for a drink. I think he's just sticking back and keeping Wealthy Man alive. He gets put into an in cap. There's the ultra time from Cerealium trying to get away from this warrior all game long. Dragon's Breath on the heroic leap to follow it up into the disarm. Cerealium should be okay regardless of this polymorph. But here we go. The Hodge follows it up, though, so Cerealium does have to be careful. And both of these mages are really the health bars that I've been staring at this game. Polymorph on the Snuts. Can they get the cross CC? They do. They get the Hodge on the Cubsy. A Wealthy Man is on the run, down to half. He still doesn't have that cauterized block, but there is a sacrifice available. Does Cubsy have to trade it out? He does. There's another button to immediately force from Cloud9, and Method NA has all the tempo in their favor.
All right, let's see if they can keep it. I mean, this small map is actually backfiring a bit. They're ahead on mana, or behind on mana, I should say, behind on cooldowns, behind on momentum. I mean, I'm thinking more and more that Windwalker might be better than Warrior in this matchup if they can keep this up, because he has to Divine Shield cooldown after cooldown. The meta just keeps shifting. Who is going to be the favorite for the Fire Mage Paladin? Who's the true Valentine of the duo of a Mage and a Paladin? And it's looking like Windwalker might get the upper hand in this series at the moment. If this keeps going the way it's been going, leg sweep on Cubsy, leg sweep on Wealthy Man. Nice double stun. I think that's the pod. That could be the game. They bought the pod, but that's it. Method NA go to match points. And I mean, that wasn't even close.
That was really one-sided. I mean, Method NA, they did such a good job. I feel like Cerulean in particular. I mean, Drake offensively did a great job. Cerulean defensively did an incredible job kiting Snuts, keeping him in Dragon's Breath Sheaths, getting him locked in Novas, just really making it difficult for Cloud9 to really find too much pressure in this match. And I mean, you look right now, kind of see the cooldowns available. Wealthy Man, no Trinket, no block, no Cauterize. Cubsy's burned through basically all the defense he has as well. He's got some Blessing of Protections, but if there's any crowd control on him, he's not going to be able to actually use that control. And you can see what Cerulean's doing to Snuts, bringing him behind pillars. I think he might even go for a Dragon's Breath on him before they set this up. They get the Polymorph on Cubsy, the double leg sweep from Drake. And Snuts even helps out and tries to deny a lot of Cerulean's damage there at the end, but it's just overwhelming pressure from Drake. And then look at the scoreboard. Normally, I don't think you would normally expect the Windwalker Monk to damage
is that?
the Warrior
Holy Paladins,
like this, but
damn.
Yeah, Brain as well, really assisting during those goes.
Yeah, shout out to all the Holy Paladins who are grinding on the ladder right now. Getting those judgments out, getting your fist of that Hodge back, but also hammer or wrathing when you have your wings up or when someone gets low. It really can make or break the pressure that your team puts on, and that throughput, that consistent damage that it can keep a team's momentum, could be the difference on your team's aggressive momentum shifting to defensive or not. And so I love to see big damage from Holy Paladins on the scoreboard. But overall, I think that the team of Method NA played really well. I love Cerulean's positioning. I love that they identify how impactful Snuts was on the Warrior, but the limiting factor being that mobility and making sure that you're in that range to spell reflect, you're in that range to get that intervene. Meanwhile, Drake can kind of just like, oh, you're in trouble, I'm going to port in cap, I'm going to ring a piece this guy. It just seems like it's a little bit more flexible, especially in regards to mobility.
Certainly. Now Method NA 3 games in a row that they have won, and that last game looking like the most dominant one versus Cloud9 in this series so far. And now they're going to be on match point. They only need to win this next game to win the entire Cup number 3 tournament here. So Cloud9 looking to try and turn things around in their favor. They're going to have to reverse sweep this though, so it's going to be a very difficult road here if they want to turn this in their favor. They're going to be locking in their map choice pretty soon here. But this momentum is going to be very favorable toward Method NA, Super T's.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering, they've gone to 2 small maps, and the one where they should have won, they were ahead on mana and everything just slips through their fingers, but it was still close. Like, they were just running, trying to drink the whole time. It didn't look comfortable. So I do wonder what Cloud9 are going to do. If it's just the same, like, just play better. Like, we're just not playing good. We won game 1 because we were playing better, and just stick to the same strategy. They're going for a neutral map, so it's left on the table. They have a lot of options. I mean, they could quite literally do anything if they wanted to change things up. Maybe bring Chanimal in for a game and try Moonkin Mage instead. Go for some bursty kills on the Windwalker. I mean, there's options if they're just burnt out on the Warrior Mage at this point. I mean, it's been a long day. It's a long series, like at this point. So maybe it's good. Bring in a fresh body, like just bring in Chanimal. Give him some playtime. Maybe that will be enough for them to kind of just communicate for kills. I don't know, because this is going to be a grind. They can't afford to lose a single game. They have to win 3 in a row, and it's dicey on their map picks, let alone Method NA's map picks. So I'm very curious. They're running the clock down, so they really want to talk about what's going on. Like, I wasn't expecting that last game to be so one-sided. I mean, I thought the Warrior on a small map would do really good. They'd run Brain out of mana, but it was the opposite. So
I wasn't expecting that this entire series to be this dominant.
Yeah, it's really back and forth so far. I mean, game number 1 in comparison to game number 3 looks completely different, and that's the power of strategy. That's the power of adapting your play. In my opinion, I don't think Cloud9 is playing bad per se. I think Method NA figured something out, and the question is, how is Cloud9 going to react to that? Tiger's Peak is a pretty even map choice, I'd say, for both compositions. So we're gonna have to wait and see. You know, if Ceruleum's going to play that game and just completely kite forever, maybe swap to the closest target a little bit more often, but not for long, because you can't leave that mage any breathing room.
Definitely not. No room for mistakes here with either of these teams right now. Both of these guys gonna be looking to do their absolute best in this next game, because this is where it counts right here in game number 5 on Tiger's Peak. It's Cloud9 versus Method NA in the North American Finals, and Method NA on match point.
What would you like to see them do different, Benrique? I'm really curious to your perspective here. You're the mage master here.
I feel like so much of this matchup comes down to the pressure that Drake is able to put out. His ability to just harass Wealthy Man in this game, like the way he's using Paralyzed, Leg Sweep, Ring of Peace, like being very patient with his Wen after Nova. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's not a lot of monks in the game that could put out that. Maybe there's none. I mean, he's just absolutely punishing Wealthy Man so much in this game. And that's why Ceruleum can play defensive in those moments, because he knows that Drake with enough uptime is going to take down a mage eventually in this match. But we'll see. Ceruleum taking a huge hit of damage early on. And what I think what I want to see from Cloud9 is just all of them moving in and getting a lot more aggressive in this match. Immediate double leg sweep. Drake just instantly finds it. The moment Cubsy moves away from the pillar and pushes in, he gets caught into a leg sweep by Drake. These are the kind of setups that just put Cloud9 on the back foot. I mean, they want to push in, they want to get aggressive, but they're just getting denied. It's becoming really, really difficult. Ceruleum just spamming up polymorphs right now on Snuts, continuing to just line of sight, staying in line of sight of Brain, just getting away from Wealthy Man. Hammer of Justice goes out, a polymorph onto Cubsy. Massive damage coming in from Drake on this monk. They get cauterized. Can they get more? And this is the kind of damage that I'm talking about. Ceruleum wasn't even in line of sight of Wealthy Man, and they proc cauterized.
I'm just baffled by that. I saw the big damage hit. I saw the alter time, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be sick. But instead, he just lit on fire. Wealthy Man on the back foot. Ceruleum does have that cauterize still available. Big combustion damage is going to be hitting onto Wealthy Man. He gets locked out, but not on Frost. But he's still in super careful.
They panicked.
Oh my god, that's overlap. Oh, it's an absolute disaster for Cloud9. The 2 biggest buttons in their arsenal are gone, Supatees.
You can't tell me that this isn't like fatigue. I think at this point,
yeah,
based on their game 1 being so spectacular, now they get locked into a double leg sweep. Oh no, it's unraveling. This is match point. They can't afford to lose. Cubsy pops Avenging Wrath, saves the day for now, but they have so much work to do. They're behind on mana. Oh no, a full polymorph on Cubsy now. Drake's in hot pursuit. Wealthy Man is just getting cracked by Drake right now. Huge damage. Cubsy has a Divine Shield, but he might just die anyway. Fist of Fury gets Ring of Frost. Nice timing there. Ceruleum finally taking some damage from Snuts and Wealthy Man here. Brain gonna have to sacrifice, but he hits the Blinding Light, so he will negate the crowd control. Actually, he might die in Blinding Light from that redirected damage. Brain is really struggling with that at the moment. 2 targets dipping low, and Snuts is actually Kyrian this time around, which is a pretty big change. I'm wondering, did they also go? Yeah. Is he also a gnome? He's a gnome and he's Kyrian, so they want to get more mobility on the warrior. That's an interesting change, but they're just so far behind on cooldowns at this point. I don't think it's going to make a difference.
I'm really not sure. Paralyzed right now, going out by Drake. It's a preemptive Blessing of Protection. That was not the leg sweep. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, Cubsy goes into crowd control, but now Wealthy Man will eat a full leg sweep, and there is nothing they can do about it. And Ceruleum has combustion. This could just be the game. There it is. Massive damage. There's the combustion, and it will...
Oh, he saves the pot!
The seed. The seed. Is he going to be able to survive the intimidating shout? No, Ceruleum crushes it. And that preemptive Blessing of Protection from Cubsy, I don't know how much I liked it, but Method NA, they definitely capitalized on it. A dominant performance from them. And although they went down to the lower bracket in an unsurprising way earlier on in this tournament, they went on an absolute tear, showing why they're number 1.
Yeah. I just think back to that LeBron James quote, Aya. Like when he won the whole championship recently, The number one thing is like, what are you going to do? What do you want, LeBron? And he just says, I want my damn respect. And that's exactly how I interpret Method NA right now. They might not be, you know, back from the MLG days, but they are here to play. These guys are insane. I love to see new blood. This is probably like the first new blood team ever since like maybe Majidin that we've seen really bring it to teams like Cloud9, OTK to this level. And I am here for it, Aya.
It's so true. I'm so excited to see this team, you know, come in fairly newly formed last year, and now here they are, like, beating Cloud9, a team that absolutely dominated the North American region for so long. And these guys are basically unstoppable at this point. And there's one cup left here to try and figure out exactly how to best this team, because right now these guys are not going anywhere. And you're absolutely right, David. They are proving why they deserve to be here in this spot time and time again. And I'm just so excited for this team's future here, Ben.